And welcome back to the EIBTM TV Corner. I just came from hosting the fresh session of the future on the future of meetings, and I now have all of the presenters here, and I just want to give you a brief overview of what has happened and what's been discussed. I would like to welcome and start with Patrick Payne, the CEO of QuickMobile. Patrick. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine.
So, speaking about the future, obviously you have been a big player in that. Do you see that the evolution is going to continue as quick as it has been so far? Is it going slower? Is it going to speed up?
Absolutely. I think it will continue to accelerate over the next 3 to 5 years. I think we're seeing a lot more around the way people connect with each other, the way they try to interact, and mobile behavior is actually becoming more and more sophisticated as time goes on. So people expect to have their mobile phone application. They expect to be able to connect with people very quickly, navigate around, find things. They're looking for new ways to conduct business. They're trying to learn things, so there's all kinds of different types of rich media that they're starting to incorporate, video, graphics. In fact, we're talking to a company to use augmented reality as kind of a wow factor to get people engaged more in speakers and types of presentations that happen at meetings and events.
So one of the things that became very clear in that discussion is that wherever there's technology, there's confusion. And I mean, meeting planners have so much to do in their lives. So we, the technology suppliers, are we going to solve that confusion?
Well, we can make it simpler. And that's what I think people are really looking for is, without getting into all the details of how the technology works, it's very difficult when you start to pull back the layers of the onion and figure out how all this technology works. And frankly, I don't think meeting planners want to go through that journey with us. They just want to understand how an application works and what is the benefit to them as to why they should use it. And for the most part, I think companies have figured out how to, and we've certainly tried to figure out how to make the experience at a meeting much better using mobile devices. But I think in the future it's going to be, how can you quantify that engagement and that experience? How are people actually using that device? Which speakers are they interested? Who are the innovators and the thought leaders at an event? How are people connecting to each other? What are the ad hoc communities that are being created? All those kinds of things. And mobile devices can really help with that kind of information.
So just to finish up, talking about the future of meetings, what is it you are personally most excited to see?
Well, I believe that despite the technology that's out there, it's really about people connecting one-to-one. And how are they meeting face-to-face? And so what I believe mobile devices do is they help people to do that. It's not the be-all, end-all, though. At the end of the day, it's really about human connection and interaction. And what we try to do is facilitate through that mobile device that connection. So for us, we say inspire connection, and that's really what we try to do in lots of different ways using mobile devices.
Thanks a lot for joining us here, and thanks a lot for joining us at the session.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
So going throughout the session, it has become very, very apparent that the technology is facing a lot of challenges. And I mean, one of the challenges that we've been talking about was compatibility between different systems and so on. And Stefan, who's going to come in next from the Meeting Support Institute, you had a few great insights to share on, how things are hopefully going to move together in the future. So can you give the attendees, the online attendees, the spectators, a bit of an overview of what you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, if you look to the meetings in a few years, in 20 years, let's say, for me, one of the huge thing is standardization or uniformization. So the problems we have today with all the different platforms. We have the, let's say, the Apple platform with the iOS technology, and you have on the other side the market with all the other apps and things like that. That's we have to develop it twice. We have to we spend a lot of money to that, and there are a lot of problems to make sure that it will be give the same content, the same view on both apps. It's a very simple example, but in the meantime, you have the same thing on all browsers. If you go on your Chrome, it works. If you go to the Internet Explorer, it doesn't work at all. So these things we're gonna exclude in a few years. I'm sure we're gonna go for a standard where we can work on.
So who's going to push that standardization or that uniformation? Is it the client? Is it are we meeting planners doing it? Do we need governments to regulate things? What is your view on that?
That's a good question and a difficult one. I'm thinking about it, and in our company we're discussing it, and I think finally there's somebody has to take it up. The government maybe is the most easy and logical thing. It's a bit like television. Now you have a standard for television, and all facilitators know how to have to work with it, and they do it because otherwise you can't see your program on the television. And we need more or less the same for the internet to make it more credible and to focus on the real value of technology things, communication things like that.
But then obviously finding a standard for television has taken a few years. So are you expecting this also to take quite a few years?
I don't hope so. It's going faster. Television is in Belgium. We're celebrating 60 years of television. So it took a long time, of course. But like if you see how technology is evaluating so fast for the moment, I think we can make it in a few years. But of course, we have the two big players. They have to find an agreement. Do they want to do it? I don't know. I don't have the mirror ball.
Looking forward to seeing that. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
So throughout the entire presentation and throughout the entire session, we had a varied line of subjects, and the second one to present after I did the start was Paul. And Paul had a few very good points. So I would like to welcome Paul and to share some of his insights on the future of meetings and the future of innovation. So what is your special interest, or what is your special passion that you want to see happening in the future?
Well, group facilitation, for a start. That's my passion, to transform the way the groups behave, regardless of being face-to-face or at a distance, and having the technology as a mean to enhance a goal and not people slave to the technology. That's in a sentence what my unfulfilled ambitions in the meeting industry.
Are we slaves to the technology right now?
I think so. In a certain way, we are frustrated. I think there's lots of promise from technologies, from mobile apps that are not fulfilled. But on the other hand, I think that a part of the fulfillment that is made by the industry today is really making the market evolving. So it's good to have innovation, and it's good to have more and more events adopting these type of technologies. But we shouldn't forget that there's a goal to accomplish. One of the presentations said about that, so we can reinforce mobile apps to use them as a way to accomplish goals, certain group goals, group objectives. That will be my goal as well.
Thanks for sharing that. So thinking about group facilitation and bringing groups together across the globe, which, I mean, with hybrid events is already a major part of the industry and is part in so many discussions that we're having right now. Do you think that we will get to a point through group facilitation that a group that's being spread out at 5 continents at maybe the same time in 20 different countries can come to one intelligent conclusion?
Obviously, that is the challenge for the group facilitation and the group facilitators today. They need to adapt their methods to virtual facilitation. That is to say, to apply the knowledge that we normally use in face-to-face groups and to twist these techniques in order to take advantage of software tools and mobile apps, so we can have the group process accomplishes the same or even more satisfying meeting experience, regardless of you are face-to-face or in a remote position. Obviously, this is a good challenge, but we are seeing experiences of very satisfying meetings where participants are remotely located and they feel the same sense of belongingness because precisely they have better designed processes that accomplishes this effectiveness of a group decision-making process that will then make people more satisfied with the participation in that process.
So who's going to lead that change? Is it going to be facilitators that we already have that are just going to adapt new methods? Is it going to be you as a supplier? Or do we need a whole new generation of facilitators?
Well, first of all, I think that there has to be innovation in this particular group that are the group facilitators. Normally, this profession is attached to adult learning techniques that are based in paper and pen. And when we propose them to innovate, that's the real challenge, right? So it's a little bit like a meeting organizer that needs to innovate and take advantage of new technologies for their event. So there's always a small percentage of innovators that are going to make the shape of the curve to evolve and to a large majority adoption. You know, there's going to always to be innovators. So we need to look at these innovative experiences and make them aware by everyone that there are going to be success stories with the adoptions of virtual facilitation as we speak today.
Thanks for sharing that, Paul, and thanks for being part of the interview.
Torben, thank you for organizing such a wonderful session.
You're welcome. So, moving across the entire session, obviously technology is imitating or taking up a lot of existing ideas and putting them into a new frame, putting them into a new context. So Joel, who's now going to come and join us here, he has taken on a very specific challenge. Joel, your company is doing electronic posters.
Yes.
Why reinvent something that already works?
You mean the paper poster
The
and
paper
put them
poster.
into? Yeah. So why? The primary reason is that a lot of content that are presented during the Congress are content that are that can be reused by the organizer. Most of the time for us, medical societies. So just leaving them on paper would prevent the association of reusing that content and increasing the reach of that content, and therefore be able to provide an educational service to their targeted audience, most of the time their members. So it was really important for us to find ways of putting those posters into this electronic format. Now, by doing that, we had to propose something that would make sense at the Congress, that would even, maybe increase the quality of interactions during the Congress surrounding all those posters. And we did it really carefully because scientific posters are very important. They're the genesis of scientific research, of treatment. You have concepts that may not see the life one day, but a lot of concepts that will lead to new trend in medical treatment. So working with scientific poster was really something delicate for us. And one of the key aspects is that at congresses, as it's talking about concept, it generates a lot of interaction, a lot of discussion between the participant and the poster author. So that also had to be taken into consideration. So we wanted to do something that would enhance everything and enhance also the access, because if you have congresses with 3,000-4,000 posters and you would like to see only 3 or 4 posters, you have to go into a huge hall and find precisely the poster that you're looking for. Maybe the author will not be there, so you won't be able to interact. And also, because there's so many posters, what the organizers are doing is that they actually change completely all the posters at night so that the next day they can put again another 1,000 posters. So you may miss that poster because you arrived or you were busy arrived late at the Congress or busy at a session. So all of that had to be taken into consideration. And what we did was then, by digitalizing those posters, be able to put them into a screen. So on a screen you can see all the posters and not have to go through within the halls, everywhere in the halls, and then enhance the viewing experience of poster, which was something tricky, like as presented with those sections highlighted with auto zoom. That was also something important to do, and then allowing to use those posters to be able to present posters. So by using this new medium, not only they were able to present posters, but we even increased the reach because you can have a broader audience.
So, talking about scientific congresses, I think scientific congresses, and you said it's the genesis of science, of research, these posters, and they have had this modus of operation for decades and decades.
Yeah.
So, if a planner is trying to implement electronic posters, how are they going to get their participants, the researchers, who are in the end fueling this poster exhibition, how are they going to get them to buy into it?
That's a good point. A doctor should do what he's good at, so treating and doing research. So we don't want to, give them a hard time changing and applying this new medium to present their data. So the objective for us was to make it simple for the meeting planner, the association, by just telling the poster author that when they submit their posters to print it, they will actually do it at the same time to create a new poster. So in poster author, feel that it's a great new way to expose their research. So they're really implicated. And what they do, and this is the only request we ask them, is just to help us understanding the flow of sections within a poster so that we can reapply it and improve the viewing experience of users on the posters. That was the key. So we really made it easy for meeting planner.
Great. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, concluding today and also having concluded the session at the Fresh Track is Richard, who is a well-known face in the tech event industry and who has conducted a super interesting piece of research. So, I'm welcoming you here. Thanks for dropping by. So, what kind of research did you do?
Hi, Tobin. Thanks for your time. And for inviting me. The research we did was about the events in 2050 and what will event look like in 2050. And we actually asked 19 experts around the world to give us their feedback about the event industry. And we have some great insights and some great key findings that we can share with you.
So, just before we dive into that, why did you want to do that research? Why do we need that research?
Well, we've been in this industry for 3 years now, and we are we're a bit new in this industry. We're a startup from Paris, and we really wanted to have some insights, some visionaries to give us, what's the big trend that is coming in the event industry. And I think that was the main driver for us, really, to have that conversation, to better understand this industry by talking to these experts and by asking them, their view on the next 40 years.
So, for our visitors and for our viewers, what are the top findings, or what are the findings you're most excited about?
Yeah, I think that from an event planner perspective, I think that one of the key findings that we had is we'll have virtual assistant that will help you.
Okay.
That will help you do all the logistics of your event, be it a 10 people event or a 100,000 people event. I think that in the next 50 years or 40 years, we'll see this type of events like EIBTM that they will be completely managed logistically by a virtual assistant, which is a program with artificial intelligence.
So it's different from a virtual assistant that we know right now that are sitting somewhere in an office on the other side of the world.
It's something which is with artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And I think that if I take on the event planner side, on the participant side, I think one of the the most fun ideas that we got was in 2050 we'll be able to 3D print your food at events.
Looking forward to that. Will there still be queues at cafeterias?
I depend on the number of machines.
So,
and maybe just to finish, we'll be publishing this this research, and it will be available on mica.com. So
it's going to be free to download?
It's going to be free to download. It will be available. You can use that information for all your your content you can use. So we are more than happy to release it. It will be up next week.
So can you, just to finish this up and to wrap up this interview, say one single thing that is not going to happen?
I would think that time is up.
Great.
That was a great question.
Sorry about that. So everybody watching this, thanks a lot for joining us. Time is up, and I hope you got some insights into what is going to come in the industry. Exciting times ahead, and thanks for watching, and see you again.